whole life never taking for granted what is normal. You're 13 years old. This much is certain. This is your last year of elementary school, and this is also the 150th anniversary of the country in which we both were born. You are a girl, but this again offers me little I can take for granted. When very small, you decided that you hated pink and also princesses, even the ostensibly modern ones, with their conventional prettiness now superpowered. You refused to wear a dress, arguing it was a nuisance when cartwheeling and somersaulting. And today you remain a blur of motion, pure fierceness at the dojo where you train and spar with adults who tower over you. Recently, when we were in the kitchen together, a news story came on the radio about a man whose criminal charge was reduced from murder to manslaughter. Manslaughter, you said, but that sounds way worse than murder. I tried to explain that manslaughter involves someone being killed, but without conscious intent. Suppose a man tried to assault you, I began, but in defending yourself, you punched him so hard that he fell back and cracked his head on the pavement and died. You weren't deliberately trying to kill him, right? But that might be considered manslaughter, even though it was an accident. You thought for a moment, nodding. I see your point, you said. That would be awful. But I wouldn't exactly call my punch an accident. I would call it forceful and correct technique. I've told this story to other parents, receiving smiles both real and markedly awkward, sometimes a laugh one gives when something is cute, but I know I've never been successful in conveying its true meaning for me. When I was a boy your age, I'm not sure if I could have expressed so easily my right to defend my body from harm, not only my right to physical safety, but my right to acknowledge and push back against denigration of any sort, great or small. To witness you, my daughter, so physically confident in your body is to be awed, and also to wonder at how much your childhood differs from mine. Certainly, you possess a worldliness that was unthinkable to me at your age. You've had the opportunity to visit Europe and countries throughout North America, and you wish to see much more. You seem to have little of the anxiety I often feel about crossing borders and encountering new people in different spaces. You go to a French immersion school, not only because your mother, raised and educated in Quebec, wished this for you, but because I too hope that you would not be trapped as I am in a single language. And yet the irony is that your very success has turned me into the imaginary immigrant parent I never thought I would be, proud of his daughter's accomplishments in school, yet unable to help her with even her grade 7 homework. Maybe the differences between our childhoods are but a version of those that exist between many parents and children. My own parents, your beloved grandparents, were not imaginary immigrant parents, but real and specific ones, Black and South Asian people who journeyed to this country more than half a century ago, who worked lifelong as a minder of children and a factory laborer. They experienced many indignities and deep body aches, sacrifices and shortages, but they worked hard, and they managed to raise a writer who is also a professor of literature, a fact of which they are proud but also, at times, perplexed. They do not understand everything about me, but I'm sure they believe for good reason that they have provided a better life for their son, and that many, if not all, the challenges they once experienced no longer affect me. At times, I'm tempted to imagine the same of you. You go to a school that displays posters in the hallways abstractly warning against discrimination and bullying, while celebrating inclusion and diversity. You once decided to do a project on the Underground Railroad, and you were supported in this by your teacher. You have been introduced to books by particular authors and in particular voices that I was never introduced to in either primary or secondary school. The Diary of Anne Frank, I Am Malala, the Book of Negroes. You show me YouTube videos posted by a brown girl who, like me, grew up in Scarborough. Someone who seems to have no...